Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. We are here today to learn about Czech glass and Czech silver, and this is part of our international series on the Czech Republic. And we're going to listen today to Dr. Katarina, and I have to look at it, Stepankova. Stepankova. We have been friends online for about a year now. And she is teaching a class with me on fibers and cross-cultural arts. And now they are here, she and her colleague Clara. And we are excited to have her here. She's from the Department of Art and Textiles at the University of Hradec Králové. And her main area she deals with is creativity and its support in the issues of art education and at the elementary level. And her PhD is in the theory of art education. And I'm not going to attempt to say the name of the university.
University of Hradec Králové.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes, it is.
So, but today we're going to learn a little bit about the glass and the crystal, and I think her presentation is going to be wonderful. We've been spending some time together, and she's very interesting to listen to. So,
thank you for introduction. So, I'm really excited to be here, and I'm fond of that you are interested in Czech culture. So, I will try to introduce you the Czech crystal, Czech glass, and why is the so precious commodity, and how it was created during the history. So I was introduced. So once again, my name is Katarina Stepankova. With diacritics, it means Stepankova. So maybe you met some Czech glass or Czech crystal. So to tell you that this commodity is really deeply rooted in our culture and in our crafts. So how to begin? The people were from ancient time fascinated by glass. By glass, the first, it was the nature glass, obsidian, volcanic glass, glass made by lightning, which were found on deserts or sandy areas. Why the fascination, how this fascination developed? Because of clarity, purity, color, durability, and symmetry. The glass or precious stones has some magical meaning for men, for people from really ancient time. If we can look back to the history, the first glass was excavated in a Middle East, in Mesopotamia and Syria, and it's dated to 8,000 years before Christ. The 3,600, there are the first vessels found. The first glass, it was beads, beads which were created for as a jewelry, and these beads we can find all over the world, not only in the East, in Africa, in China, India, and in Central Europe and North Europe, and these products are still nice, and the durability is visible that the glass is immortal material. So the first glass were created by the glass beads were created almost by an accident, but later they were created to take it to the molds or cut it. And in ancient Egypt, we can find the first vessels for ointments or oil and so on. So the history in Czech Republic, or the place where the Czech Republic is just now located, it was the place where the culture crossed because of merchants' paths and entryways, and there mixed a lot of culture. So the first glass beads were found or were made by Celts. Celtic people, then a German nation, then came the hordes from east, and it was a first Slovenian people or Slovak people. So there were some excavation, and there was found layers of different beads also. So Czech glass in the Czech Republic has a really long tradition, and the first craftsman came from Italy, because maybe you know Venetian glass and Murano glass, and the Czech craftsmen improved the technology and were able to enrich it and find new technology solution. The Czech people they are not too proud or themselves, but they know that they are really skillful workers and clever person. And in the case of glass, it's really visible, because there was so many invention that the first they learned how to make glass from Italian people and Italian workers, and later in the Baroque era and a little bit before in Manierism era, the Italian glass workers learn from Czech craftsmen, and Czech crystal and Czech glass was the most important export goods. So the first real glass was made from sand, and for glass it's necessary to raw material, two sorts of raw materials. The first is sand, high quality sand, and wood, because from wood the potash is brought out, and in Czech lands there was plenty of sand, plenty of quality sand, and a lot of woods. The wood was important for heating the glass, and also digging the potassium. So in Czech lands there was a really long tradition in making the special sort of medieval green colored glass. And when the monks came from France and from Germany, and the big cathedrals were started to build, so there was necessity to make windows and glass windows. So the first craftsmen came from Italy, German, with monks, and they need to prepare glass on the place. They can't draw the glass a few thousand or 100 kilometers. So the craftsmen were able to learn new technology, improve it, and make the glass on a place. So King Charles, it was the Czech king, and Roman emperor, who made a Czech Republic from Northern Sea to Mediterranean Sea. He invited the artists, clever men, writers, musicians, and he brought the artists from Venezia, from Murano, and they made some mosaic. It's a big mosaic on San Wenceslav Cathedral. There are millions of small cubes made from a glass. So when you are in Prague in December, you will see it. So the local craftsmen learn the technology, how to make the glass, which has a special opacity to reflect the light, and the stained glass. It's a glass framed by LED frames, and this is the medieval stained glass from the St. Cathedral, St. Wenceslav Cathedral. So it was the beginning of high quality glass in the Czech Republic. So this is the forest glass. The green color is because of traces of iron in a sand, because the sand was dug out from creeks and rivers, and traces from potassium, which was dig out from, no, not dig out, the source was the ash of the wood. So this is the forest glass which was produced in a middle, in Central or Western Europe. This type of glass was blown glass. These goblets are decorated by some bottoms of glass, and it has a big it was very famous on a royal or aristocratic level, or between these people, because glass was every time was a very precious commodity, very expensive, and your social status was made by the ownership of glass windows, glass mirrors, and glass goblets, and so on. So this glass was used during the Gothic time, and later times during the Renaissance, and in the end of Renaissance, in the beginning of Gothic time, it's called Manierism time. During the rule of Rudolf II Habsburg, it was a person who like the specialty, art, music, craft, astrology, mysticism. So he invited to her court a lot of artisan singers, and also astrologists and alchemists also. So he invited also a craftsman, and Caspar Lehmann, he was a very skillful worker. Originally, he can cut the stones and make some, what is the name? Glyptics, and the carving to precious stones, and cut diamonds also. And he used this technology for cutting diamonds and precious stone to cut the glass. And during this time was the glass material improved, that their clearness and opacity was like a crystal, real crystal. So the Czech glass it's one thing, and Czech crystal, it means that the glass is very hard and clear like a crystal. So he used the technology for cutting precious stones to crystal, to the glass, and from this era, the famous of Czech glass became start to growing up, and you can see this is the medieval, the ancient part. So this person first time used new tools. The glass was cut by copper or bronze plates, and he first used a diamond for cutting the glass. So from this time, the Venetian artists started to learn how to make a glass. So the glass, it's a present glass shop, and the cutting glass, you can see the wheel, and the craftsman must handle the very heavy piece of glass and cut it. It's really demanding. It's made by it's using the water because to cooling the glass, the craftsman has big biceps and cold hands, and it's a really demanding, and this style of working is still used because nobody developed anything better. The second style, how to produce or decorate the glass, was engraving glass. Here it's not cut. It's make some the opposite of bas relief. The relief deepen to the glass, and Caspar Lehmann was a really very famous artist whose works are still in Christie's or some antiques houses which are interested in selling art picture, art things. It's precious, hundreds of dollars. So the engraving, the cutting is first one of the type of decorating glass. The engraving is the second one. You can see that there are different style of decorating. During the Manierism, there was developed layered glass that you have the cord for crystal, the clear one, and over it is laid the layer of usually red one, because the red color was made by adding a copper in a glass. And if you put the ferrum, the glass is green. If you put uranium, the glass is opalesque, the yellow green, and jak se řekne not iron, no, from, if you see the periodic table, the copper, ferrum, and the lead, and other yes, it caused the the glass is colored. So the red layer is fused on a glass, and by the tools you can dig to the white one. So, and a little bit, smaller tool. It's used the kind of diamond tools also. So it's a similar work, but more demanding for your eyes. In the Baroque era, the glass became spread around Europe, and all the royal courts you can find the Czech glass. It should be timber, some goblets, mirrors, but in the Baroque era it became the chandeliers, very precious. In Venezia, they were produced also mirrors and chandeliers, but the Czech chandeliers were really famous. These are in Versailles, in Chandeliers Hall, but in Russia and on the court of Maria Theresia, it's possible to find it also. So the glass or chandeliers were really very luxury items. And in the present time, the chandeliers you can find on yachts of millionaires, because the tradition of making chandeliers or lamp is again on its growing up. It is growing up, so you can find the chandeliers or on the yacht of Barack Obama, for example, and a lot of famous people, former Prince Charles, just now King Charles also, and it's quite demanding, because of the yachts are on the sea, there are waves, and the chandeliers must be really very safe, not to fall down and kill the owner. So the Czech chandeliers are very prestigious item also. So in the Baroque era was a trouble with the wars. During the war, the production was a little bit lower down, because there was no chance to go abroad and export it, and people has a different problems that to buy luxury goods. So during the Baroque era, it was some problems, but in a Biedermeier, it was again new input because of a lot of people, not only aristocracy, could afford to buy luxury goods. So wealthy merchants could bought it, and some civil persons. So there were very interesting the movement or shifts from design and preferences and demands on a glass. Usually Czech glass was crystal clean, and in the Biedermeier the painted glass was very interesting for people, and the glass which look like precious stones. So Friedrich Egermann invented a new type of glass, added some not ferrum, but this sort of molecules, I think. So this ruby glass was created by adding copper and this sort of materials. So and painted glass, it was the new technology which was developed because there should be some type of email, and later a high enamel enamel was developed. So yes, this type of glass, you can't see the clarity, but you can see the colors. And we in after Biedermeier, it was again problems with selling goods, and the Czech glass was precious, was nice, but the Venetian glass, again French glass and England glass grew up in their popularity, and new input for Czech glass was Art Nouveau, and later Art Deco also. So Art Nouveau again works with stained glass, and the glass which was painted, but painted by a different style, not clean colors, but colors which are mirroring and reflecting. In a case of beads and glass beads, they were used to make the beads opalesque. They were using some substantial from fish skin. It is really interesting which sources of materials were discovered. So let's wait. He invented this shimmering glass, and he got a medal in a universe exhibition in Vienna and in Chicago also. And this glass is really very precious, and you will find it in Christie's or something like this. And it's maybe maybe there is a reflection like in a mirrors. So an article, the new technology, but much more the new shapes were developed, and this fits to different condition, different Europe. The most important, we are still speaking about glass, but the glass was mostly blown. So using the blowing pipes and blowing freely and decorated freely over it, or blown to the forms. But this technology didn't change, and during the end of 19th century and beginning of 20th century, the most the artificial production and machinery make glass accessible, but with a lowering artistic quality. But I will jump this. But the most in this era of Art Deco, Art Nouveau and Art Deco, there was a phenomenon of Mozart glass. It's the glass work or glassness which still works, and it is the most precious glass we have in Czech Republic, and this type of glass is blown, not artificial, not doing by machinery. It's hand blown, hand gutted, hand painted, hand engraved, and this glass it was the most world success after many years or hundred of years. So you can the Moser glass was official glassware for the royal court of Habsburg, and shahs and prince of the King of England and Emperor of Russia, they have this glass on their cards. So this is the modern Moser. We spoke about the clarity and the clear color of glassware, but during the Art Deco and Art Nouveau, they developed new technologies how to add the colors, and just now the colors, the colorful colored glass is the very precious article. Art article. So you can see it here. So we just till now we spoke about history of glass. The glass was very precious commodity, and till the Second World War, it was owned by person. It was personally ownership. After the Second World War, was national. All this stuff, everything wealthy was nationalized. So the Czech tradition continued, but it was just craftsmanship. A lot of skillful artists had to go to the exile to the Western Europe. And new input for Czech art and Czech glass was the times after the Velvet Revolution in 1989. So the new workshop and glass misses were established. But during the communism era, there was two persons, it was a couple, who established the new style, a new type of producing the glass artworks. The drinking ware, it was one commodity, chandeliers and mirrors, but they started work with fused plastic. The glass sculptures. So the name was Stanislav Nevensky and Jaroslava Brichtova. This couple fused glass into the molds. It's very ancient techniques, but they developed it or refined it again and rediscovered it and improved it, and they were able to make a really big glass installation, big sculptures. And in Montreal in 1968 there was a world success because the people were fascinated how glass can look like. So this realization, like big, really very huge. What is the problem with this sort of sculptures? The glass must be cooled slowly, not to crack and corrupt it. So they invented the cooling process and how to polish it and how to work with it. And this is the new tradition which was again developed improved by contemporary artists, and it's just now, I think it's the best commodity which we can offer the artistic world, the free sculpture, not cutted glass and decorated, but cut it the big shapes and make some wall realization and free realization. So this is the work of Libensky and Brichtova, and it's in a collection of Metropolitan Museum in Boston and New York and over the world. You can see that it's a really huge realization, and they worked for, it was very interesting when they made the glass realization to the churches. They had to build a new building for making a form, and they were able to cool it. So, and later I will show you some modern statue realization. But when we were speaking about chandeliers and ancient chandeliers and Baroque chandeliers, so there are some companies which are focused on modern chandeliers and glass realization in a space, and Lasuit, it's one of it. So this is a huge realization, mostly in Arabic works, because they are huge buildings and skyscrapers and palaces also. So you can find this glass chandeliers, glass realization, free sculptures. So it's a modern sort of chandeliers. On Expo in Dubai, there were introduced a new type and new realization also. And we spoke about drinking ware, mirrors, chandeliers, and this is and free sculpture. And this is the really very interesting thing, because Zdeněk Lhocký, he's designer also, but in this project he worked as a really craftsman. This is a sarcophagus for Queen Margaret, and this sarcophagus is made from few parts, which had to be cooled for half a year. And the first designer, Norgard, came to probably 10 craftsmen all over the world and asked if it would be possible to do it, and he was told no, it's impossible. And Zdeněk Lhocký did it. So I will try to show you the first technology of fused glass. So the glass sticks are layered to the form, then heating up. The glass is melting, and it's interesting that to be the glass still clear, there can't be any bubbles of air or oxygen. So it's really very demanding, and there is a polishing, so you can see the inner part where must be some relief of this statue. And this yes, you can see it here. So this sarcophagus is just awaiting for 80 years old Margaret. So. But it's interesting that her husband, he died. He was a little bit offended that he is still a prince, not a queen husband, not a royal or king husband that he dismissed to lay just behind her wife, and she will be alone there. So where to stop? To stop here. So it was the technology, and it's the sounds in this video doesn't work, so it will be without sound. So it must be really very precise work to fix these parts together, and so this is the inner relief. And so the technological advances in Czech craftsmen are really precious over the world. So Vlastimil Beránek, he is the second, another person who is interested in free sculpture. This sculpture is a Venus, and it weight it's the heaviest cutted and polished statue, glass statue in the world. It has 1/4 of ton, this object. So he's interested in a free plastic, and in an expo in Dubai, he introduced a glass reef, because the expo was about sustainability. So they produced a glass reef, because the reef, it doesn't corrupt over maybe 8,000 years, and it still be there. And they fuse the sculptures into the sea and let it under the water to be a basement for new life and new corals also. So the polishing. And I don't know if it will work, if this coral reef or not. No, it's a thing. So I will stop it. And what is the next? So it's a casted plastic and polished plastics. And this is stelas and casted glass. And this is a new design of Moser, which was shown before, not just plain clear glass, but cutted glass. So the tradition is still alive. So the technology and a little bit change. So that's all. Thank you very much for your attention.
No. Thank you.
In the picture, you can see the wood which is necessary to make a mold and blowing glass, and it's a raw materials for the form and the glass also.
Do we have any questions about the glass or the crystal? Do they still make the other historical pieces like the Biedermeier and some of those pieces, even though the new styles are created now? Do they still create some of the older styles?
Some glass makers are following the tradition, and Moser, for example, it's developing new styles of color cutting glass, more in a cubistic style, or not symmetric styles. And the quality of glass is the most important, because if you can see directly the raw materials, is really precious glass. But in this time, thanks to Putin and the problems in Ukraine, there is a shortage of gas. And during this half year, a lot of glass works were closed, because of the heating is very important, and you have to heat the glass over the night, 24 hours during the week. And for example, in northern Czech, Harachov, it's a very ancient glasswork. It was last week. It was closed. So the new, I think the improvements is in the design and new styles, and the plastic and outdoor and indoor in a free space realizations, but and the chandeliers to the yachts. But it's the glass has a lot of there is a lot of possibilities how to shape it, because it's half liquid, and you can find other new styles. I just introduced a few which follows the traditional brands, but in a Prague you can see a lot of shops presenting modeled glass.
The different versatile.
Yes.
Versatility. Are there any other questions? Anybody? Yes.
What distinguishes something as lead crystal?
Lead crystal, there is a little bit higher amount of lead, and the crystal is a little bit harder. It has great clarity and opacity. And Moser, this fabric or this industry doesn't use a lead crystal, but they used high potassium crystal. This is a little bit difference, but it's not poison glass. The lead glass, it's a really small amount. So there are two industries. The Moser is one. It uses high potassium glass, and Czech Bohemian crystal. It's another. It used the lead crystal. It's suitable for cutting, for deep cut, and for engraving, because the glass is sparkling, is shimmering. So this is the difference between high potassium crystal and lead crystal.
Anything else? Okay, well, thank you very much.
And thank you very much.